Hey, read through the word. Today is February 21st, and today's lesson is called Yom Kippur. I was just looking back at last year, and I did the same day last year, except for I didn't call it the name in Hebrew. I called it in English, Day of Atonement. And so I'm trying, many of you weren't with us last year, so this will be new, and I'm trying to take it a little bit different than I did last year, but I can't skip Day of Atonement when that's in our reading. I can't. And so I think I'm going to go a little more New Testament with it today. But our verses today are Leviticus chapter 16, verses 18 and 19. It says this: Then Aaron will come out to purify the altar that stands before the Lord. He will do this by taking some of the blood from the bull and the goat and putting it on each of the horns of the altar. Then he must sprinkle the blood with his finger 7 times over the altar. In this way, he will cleanse it from Israel's defilement and make it holy. And then it continues. So all of Leviticus chapter 16 is all about the Day of Atonement. So, let's talk. Put my bookmark in here so I don't lose my place. Let's talk. The Day of Atonement. So here we are in the book of Leviticus, and I told you, I hope you're not scared. I hope you're still reading. I hope you're still going along. We've got some hard readings the next few days, and I'm fully aware they're hard, and I'm going to do my best to pull some takeaways and to make things more unified so it doesn't look like a bunch of random information. Because I think sometimes when you read through Leviticus and it's like, why are these laws about? Like, it seems to be disjointed, but I want to show you where it's not. So, we're going to get there. But today is about the Day of Atonement. So, the Day of Atonement, there's two, even in today's modern Judaism, which really looks nothing like biblical Judaism. Number one, because there's not a sacrificial system and all of that. But, and anyway, that's a whole different discussion for a different day. But even today on the calendar, there are 2 high holy days. Let's say 3. There's lots of feasts and festivals, and we'll talk more about those later. But most people are thinking Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Passover, are the main ones that you hear the most about. And I will talk about the others. I think it actually pops up in our reading in a few days, or it might be, I think it's a few days. But, so we're going to talk about the Day of Atonement. So, Yom means day. Kippur means atonement, which means to cover. It actually refers to the vicarious and substitutionary methods of atonement. Think atonement at one meant is the best way to make everything right again. So the Day of Atonement was the day for the nation of Israel to be restored to God as a holy people in service to the Lord. And we'll talk more about the holiness tomorrow. But remember, and I told you, that's the key to the book of Leviticus, is the understanding of holiness and what God required of his people to be different and set apart. The Day of Atonement served as a reminder that the daily, weekly, and monthly sacrifices made at the altar of burnt offering were not sufficient to atone for sin. And Israel knew this. They were well aware that this didn't take care of everything. That I think I've seen some questions. It might have been the Facebook group pop up about how much sacrifices are going on constantly in the tabernacle. It is a constant daily thing that is, and we're going to look today at just the work of the priest on the Day of Atonement and what had to happen on that day. And so then you take it, and that's one day a year where he's atoning for his own sin as well as the sin of the people of Israel. And but then there's all the different offerings. There's 5 different offerings and 7 different feasts, and that show up in the book of Leviticus. And this understand all of it given, and we'll go into more detail in a few days on that, of this understanding of what it means to be the people of God, that it never leaves the forefront of their mind, their position and their purpose. So as we look at this, here's what you have is this: every time a worshiper brings an offering for the burnt offering to the tabernacle, that's as close as they can ever get. And the priest's main jobs are done out at the burnt offering at the altar for that, and inside the holy place. Not the Holy of Holies, but the holy place. That's where most of the priest's job is occurring. But this one day a year, and only one day. So when we looked at, and I know some of you have posted videos and different things to understand the tabernacle. So you have that tabernacle, and then you have a third of the tabernacle. Once you get into the holy place, a third of the holy place is the most holy place, or the Holy of Holies. And in there is the Ark of the Covenant. And all of this is happening about the mercy seat. And oh my word, this is a huge, huge, huge lesson. And I don't have. Now, some of you, if you've not looked, some of you have found me on Facebook and become my personal friend. And and I posted last week a video that just happened to pop up of me teaching on the tabernacle for about an hour from a few years ago. So it's out there if you go look, and it might even be public that you could find it, which sort of scares me. But here's this one day in the year where the atoning blood was brought into the Holy of Holies, which is a picture of the divine throne room of God, which I've told you see pictured all throughout Scripture. And you'll see that Ezekiel will see it, and we'll see it show up again in Revelation. And that's what this is a picture of. We talked a lot about that when we talked about the tabernacle. But the divine throne room, and the high priest comes as a representative for the people. So, what is the Day of Atonement? What all's going on? Now, I'm going to go through a list of very quickly, because my time is running out, here's my list before me. I don't have room to put these in the notes. I have actually referred to this book before, and I will use it again. I'm trying to not knock everything over here. I've shown this before in here. This is a family guide to the biblical holidays. It's a great thing to have, a tool, if you're interested in, especially in a few days, when we talk about all the feasts and the festivals and everything, that you might want to know more about them. And this is a good tool, as well as, I don't think I have it with me, a Messianic congregation here in the Charlotte area called Hope of Israel, is headed by Sam Nadler, and he has a book called Messiah and the Feast of Israel, which is a really good book as well, to help you understand this. If some of you want to do that. If not, just keep on, and here we go. So, there are all these steps. So, here we have. First, he removes the ashes from the outer altar. Second, immerses or baptizes himself for the first time, cleans himself, puts on the golden vestments. Third, slaughters the daily morning burnt offering. 4, receive and throw the blood of the burnt offering. 5, prepare the 5 lampstands of the menorah. 6, offer the daily incense. I'm showing you the work of a priest never stops. 7, prepare the remaining 2 lamps of the menorah. 8, burn the limbs of the daily morning burnt offering on the outer altar. So like the arms and legs, limbs. 9, offer the daily meal offering. So in the middle of all of this, 10, offer the Chavatin offering. Offer the wine libation or the drink offering. offer the ox and the 7 lambs. All are burnt offerings, along with their meal and drink offerings as well. Then he has to immerse or baptize himself for the second time, and then put on linen vestments, because at this time none of his clothes are white. They are red, covered in blood. Okay. Next, do the first confession on the high priest ox offering. Ox, huge. Okay. Draw the lots to select the he-goats for God and for Azazel. And so that's the 2 goats and the scapegoat and all of that that's pictured on the Day of Atonement. Do the second confession on the high priest ox sin offering. Slaughter the ox sin offering. Then perform the service of the special Yom Kippur incense. Scoop up some coal. Scoop up the incense into the ladle. Burn the incense on the Holy of Holies. This is the first time he enters into the Holy of Holies. Sprinkle the blood of his ox on the Holy of Holies. This is the second entrance into the Holy of Holies. Then he slaughters the he-goat. So this is step 20. Slaughter the he-goat for God. 21. Sprinkle the he-goat's blood in the Holy of Holies. This was the third entrance in the Holy of Holies. Now, the high priest can only go in one day, but he goes in a few times that day. Sprinkle the blood of his ox on the curtain in the holy place. Sprinkle the he-goat's blood on the curtain in the holy place. Mix the blood of the ox and the he-goat. Sprinkle the mixture on the inner altar. 26. Do the confession on the he-goat to Azazel, and present the he-goat to the designated person to dispatch to Azazel. This was not the sacrifice. This is the scapegoat that takes the sin as far as the east is from the west and goes. Okay. So, next, remove, it's a bloody and it sounds messy. 27, remove the entrails of his ox and the he-goat for removal to the burning place. So like the guts. Okay, so 28, prepare the limbs of his ox and the he-goat for removal to the burning place. 29, read from the Torah. 30, baptize himself, immersion into the mitzvah for the 3rd time, and then don the golden vestments. 31, perform the service of the he-goat sin offering. 32, offer his ram. 33, offer the people's ram. If he misses one step of any of this, he will be struck dead. Okay. Burn the entrails of the ox and the he-goat on the outer altar. Immerse or baptize himself for the 4th time, and then don the linen vestments. 36, remove the incense ladle and shovel with burnt coals from the Holy of Holies. This was his 4th and final entry into the Holy of Holies. Immerse himself for the 5th time, and then don the golden vestments. 38, offer the daily afternoon burnt offering, and then burn the daily afternoon incense. And then step 40, light the menorah. 10 times during this time is the only day of the year where the personal name of God would be used. Pronounce the name of God, Yahweh, how we would reckon it to be said on Yom Kippur. 6 times in connection with the bull, 3 times in connection with the he-goat, and once in connection with the lots. Those who were near to him would fall on their faces, and those who would fall, who would hear him say the name, the rest of them would say, "Blessed be his name, whose glorious kingdom is forever." Neither those who were near nor those who were far would move from their place until he disappeared. And if he messes up one time, it's done. But they knew, if all of this has to happen, if all the sacrifices have to happen every single day, something's missing. And I thought I would have time to go into this, so I'm going to put the scripture here. And all of this sounds very confusing, but Hebrews helps. Leviticus is the key to understanding Hebrews. And Hebrews is the key to understanding Leviticus. And it is, all of these sacrifices were only forerunners to prepare the way for something better, far superior. And his name is Jesus. So we'll see you next time on Read Through the Word.